All right, good afternoon / evening. This is Mr. Duncan responding to a request. Somebody was looking through the Algebra 1 material for the week 2, that's April 6th through April 9th. And a question came up about lesson 7, specifically looking at the activity in Desmos. So click on this link and it takes you into an activity. I'm going to jump into the point which I was asked to comment. I'm going to move this down below so it's not in the way. Okay, so the question is, how do I, like, the person was getting stuck on what to do with these graphs and how to transform her graph to match up with each of these. Now, there are 5 graphs here, which means we need to make 5 equations. You should always start with your parent graph. And let's see. Let's go ahead. I think we're okay. We'll see. All right. Sorry, there's some things going on in the background. So our parent graph is y equals x squared. And you can turn on and off your graphs in Desmos by clicking on the red icon, well, the icon next to your graph, and it can be any color. And mine just happened to be red. And if you long click on it, it'll let you change your colors up. So that's, that's convenient if you're trying to match to a specific graph. So that's just easier, I guess. And you can always change this whenever you like. You can turn them on and off. You can make it a dotted line or a dashed line. It's up to you. So there's some features in here. Okay, I'm going to be okay with this for now. I'm looking around, and I can turn this on and off as well. So it looks like there's a graph right here, this green one. It looks like it's not too bad. Let's see. I know that we have a total of, right now, 3 things that we can do. We can add or subtract something to the end of this graph, such as just put plus something, like say +2, and that took my graph and it's now moved it uphill. You see it's moved vertically, so we know that the adding or subtracting a term at the end of my equation, whatever my original equation was, just putting some plus or minus on the end, does a vertical shift. Okay, so we know that much. We can see that our graph is not on the vertex is not on the x-axis. It's 2 units down from it. So I know that I need to move a couple units. Well, I need to move, it looks like 1 unit down. My units are kind of funny on this graph. Let me turn on projector mode so it's easier for my screen to be seen. So let's see if we can at least line that part up. I'm going to put -1 in, and it now lines up exactly right. It's at the same height, shall we say. The vertices match up. Now, I now need to move it to the right. Looks like it's on the y-axis. I need to move it over until it's at the line x equals 4, which is right here. So I need to move this thing over 4 units in the positive direction. We know to do that, you have to manipulate some terms inside, next to the x, before you square the term. So we have to put something inside here. And let's just test to see what happens. I'm thinking, well, I'm going to a positive 4, so maybe I think, oh, I'll just put +4 in here. Let's see what happens. +4, it went the wrong way. So apparently, you should be able to pick up on this. Instead of doing +4, I should do -4. And there we are. It matches up perfectly. So we can see there's the original graph. I'll turn off the one we have. And it needs to be green, so I'll make ours green to match. Just makes things easy. Okay, cool. So we got our first one done. The rest of them are pretty much the same thing. We just have to use other tricks. Now, it looks like all the other ones, the graphs are opening downwards. So the other thing that you should be aware of when graphing is, in order to make your graph alternate instead of opening up to opening down, is you need to have the number out front of your x squared term be a negative. That will make your graph open downwards. So we know it's going to need to be a negative out front. That flips it over. So that's nice. As soon as it did that, I noticed that I only have to do one more step in order for this graph to look like this orange graph at the far right on my page. So I'm at 0, 0 for my vertex, and I need to go over to, looks like the value 5. So we already know the trick from up above. We're going to put a parenthesis in here, and then we're going to put a -5. So that'll get us over there. I should note to you guys, this is not the only way to write these quadratic equations. Like, this is one way to write them. It's probably the easiest way for this activity, but it's not the only way. There are a lot more different ways we can write They're called different forms. Vertex form, so named because it tells you the vertex when you look at it. Standard form, which is probably the one we're used to using the most. It's where you have something x squared plus something times x plus some number, x squared plus bx plus c. We have, and by the way, the form we're using right now actually is vertex form. So you probably didn't see it in the first one, but the vertex of this guy is 4, -1. There's the 4, there's the -1. So that's the name of the form we're currently using. Could we have written this a different way and gotten the same equation? Absolutely. If we expanded this polynomial, x minus 4 squared, if we expanded that out, wrote it all the way out, like multiplied those terms and expanded out, it would look different, but it would graph the exact same way. So just be aware of that. Okay, so we've got our second equation. Good to go. Let's turn it orange as well, so it matches up. All right, cool. So now we have an orange graph matched up. We have the green graph matched up. Purple looks like just a straight up move upwards. But again, we have to start with y equals, and it needs to be a negative term out front. So same parent function, but now I'm just making it negative. Your job is to get that to slide all the way up to +5. So if we put a +5 on the end here, I bet, there we go. Remember, the terms on the outside do exactly as you would expect them to do. They do a direct movement. It's the inside term that does the opposite of what you're expecting. So these should be all the parts and pieces you need. I'm not going to complete this because then what's the point for you? Right? So you need to practice on your own of moving things around. And if it's getting tricky using like numbers, like playing guess, you can also put in sliders and then take that slider and move it to the value you need it to be. So for instance, I can slide this over and it'll take me exactly to where I need to go. And I go, oh, when A is 5, I get my answer. Okay, cool. So you can also add sliders to your equations and you're going to get the equations you need. So just be aware of that. There's lots of ways to do this. But again, numbers are probably best for now because you're still kind of practicing this stuff. Hopefully that was helpful. If not, let me know.